Captain Lee Taemin stood at the window of the Seoul Command Center, watching the morning sun rise over the city. His coffee had gone cold an hour ago, but he did not notice. His eyes were fixed on the sky, waiting for something that most people still believed was impossible. The alarm system suddenly filled the room with red light and loud sounds. Officers ran to their stations. Computer screens showed data that made Lee's heart beat faster. After months of waiting and watching, they were finally here. "Sir, we have contact," said Lieutenant Park Ji-ho, his voice shaking slightly. "Multiple large objects entering Earth's atmosphere. Size estimates show they are bigger than anything we have ever built." Lee walked quickly to the main display screen. The radar showed dozens of massive shapes moving down from space. Each one was the size of a small city. They moved in perfect formation like they had done this many times before. "Get me Admiral Kim on the secure line," Lee ordered. "And wake up everyone on the emergency contact list. Today is the day we have been preparing for." Across the city, Dr. Park Hyejin was already awake in her laboratory. She had been studying space signals for months, trying to understand the alien language. Her computer had been recording strange transmissions from deep space. Now those same signals were coming from directly above Earth. "They are trying to talk to us," she said to her assistant Ko Min-soo. "The signals are getting stronger. I think they want to make contact." On her screen, she could see the translation program working. Slowly, words began to appear in Korean and English. The message was simple but scary. "People of Earth, you will surrender to the Velkari Empire. You have 72 hours. Dr. Park grabbed her phone and called the command center. She needed to tell them what the aliens were saying. Meanwhile, in a secret military base under the mountains, Admiral Kim Dong-woo was already in action. For months, Earth's governments had been working together in secret. They had seen the alien ships coming long before today. Deep space telescopes had spotted the fleet 6 months ago. "All units, this is command." Admiral Kim spoke into his microphone. "Operation Rising Sun is now active. All defense systems are ready. All pilots report to your stations." The plan had been simple. If aliens came to Earth, humanity would not give up without a fight. Every country had worked together to build new weapons and train new soldiers. They had used every day of the last 6 months to get ready. In Busan, fighter pilot Baek Min-ho was running to his aircraft. His squadron had been on high alert for weeks. Their planes were not normal fighters anymore. Engineers had added new weapons and shields using technology that pushed human science to its limits. "All right, Sky Team," Baek said over his radio. "We trained for this. Let's show these aliens what humans can do." Above the Pacific Ocean, the first Velkari ship stopped moving and hung in the air like a dark cloud. It was so big that it blocked out the sun for the ships below. The alien vessel was smooth and black, with no windows that humans could see. From inside the ship, Commander Velthera looked down at the blue planet. He had conquered 47 worlds for the Empire. This would be number 48. Humans looked weak from the data his scouts had collected. They fought each other and had simple technology. "This should be easy. Begin the demonstration," he told his weapons officer. "Fire one shot at the empty ocean. Let them see our power. They will surrender quickly after that." A beam of bright energy shot down from the ship. When it hit the water, it created an explosion, bigger than any human weapon. The ocean boiled and steam rose high into the sky. The blast could be seen from hundreds of miles away. People around the world watched the news in fear. The alien ship had just shown that it could destroy entire cities with one shot. Many humans wanted their governments to surrender immediately. But in the Seoul Command Center, Lee Tae-min was not afraid. He was angry. "They think we will just give up," he said to his team. "They think we are weak because we are smaller than them." Dr. Park Hyejin arrived at the command center with her translation equipment. "I can understand more of their language now," she said. "They keep calling us primitive species number 2847. They have done this before to many other worlds." "What happened to those other worlds?" Admiral Kim asked when he arrived from the underground base. "They all surrendered," Dr. Park said quietly. Every single one gave up after the aliens showed their weapons. Lee looked around the room at his fellow officers. He saw Ri So-young, the engineer who had designed their new underground shelters. He saw Nam Yu-jin, who had created new computer systems that could not be hacked easily. He saw Choi Jae-sung, their best military planner. Well, Lee said with a small smile, I guess they have never met humans before. The alien ultimatum was broadcast on every television and radio on Earth. The message was clear: surrender in 72 hours or face destruction. Most world leaders held emergency meetings. Some wanted to fight, others wanted to surrender, but the Secret Defense Council had already made their choice months ago. Admiral Kim spoke for all of them. We will not kneel. As the first day passed, more alien ships appeared over major cities. London, New York, Tokyo, Moscow. Each city had a massive dark shape hanging above it. The aliens wanted humans to feel small and helpless. Instead, something different happened. In Seoul, people did not run away screaming. They looked up at the alien ship with anger in their eyes. In the streets, citizens helped soldiers move equipment. Families said goodbye to their loved ones as young people joined the military. The aliens had made their first mistake. They thought showing their power would make humans afraid. Instead, it made humans angry. On the second day, Lee received reports from around the world. The secret preparations were working. Hidden weapons were being moved into position. Pilots were ready. Scientists were finishing their new inventions. Dr. Park worked day and night to understand more alien communications. She discovered that the Velkari Empire had a simple way of doing things. They arrived, showed their power, and waited for surrender. They had never had to fight a real war. They are not as strong as they want us to think, she told Admiral Kim. They use fear more than actual fighting. Their whole empire is built on making others afraid. As the third day began, the world held its breath. In a few hours, the alien deadline would pass. The Velkari expected a message of surrender from Earth's leaders. Instead, they got something very different. At exactly noon Korean time, Admiral Kim broadcast a message to the alien fleet. Dr. Park had translated it into the Velkari language. We are the people of Earth. We do not surrender. We do not kneel. If you want our world, you will have to take it. Above Seoul, the massive alien ship began to glow with weapons charging. Commander Velthara could not believe what he had heard. No species had ever refused the Empire's demand for surrender. Prepare all weapons, he ordered his crew. We will show these humans the price of defying the Velkari Empire. But as his ship prepared to attack, something unexpected happened. Warning lights began flashing on his control panels. His sensors detected missiles rising from Earth, hundreds of them, all aimed at his ship. The humans had not been sitting quietly during the 3-day ultimatum. They had been getting ready for war. Lee Tae-min stood in the command center, watching the missiles streak across the sky toward the alien ship. Let's see how they like our welcome party, he said. The war for Earth was about to begin. The aliens had expected submission, but they were about to discover the fighting spirit of humanity. The first human missiles hit the Velkari ship above Seoul like angry hornets attacking a giant. Commander Velthara watched in shock as his ship's shields flared bright blue under the attack. These weapons should not have been able to hurt his vessel at all. Damage report, he shouted to his crew. Minor damage to outer hull sections, his officer replied, fear creeping into his voice. Sir, these weapons are using some kind of energy we have not seen before. Velthara felt something he had not experienced in many years of conquest. Doubt. Return fire. Destroy their launch sites. Energy beams shot down from the alien ship, turning the mountains outside Seoul into glowing craters. But when the smoke cleared, more missiles came from different locations. The humans had hidden their weapons well. In his fighter jet racing through the clouds, Baek Min-ho saw the alien beams destroy the hillsides where his friends had been stationed. Anger filled his heart, but his training kept him focused. He had a job to do. Sky Team, this is Falcon 1, he spoke into his radio. Target the small ships leaving the main vessel. Use formation Delta 7. Beck's squadron was flying modified, fighters that human engineers had worked on for months. The engines were faster, the weapons were stronger, and the armor was made from new materials that could resist some alien technology. As they approached the alien scout ships, Beck saw something that surprised him. The enemy vessels moved in straight lines, following patterns that were easy to predict. They flew like machines, not like pilots who could think and change their plans. They fight like robots, he told his wingman, Officer Yoon Da-hee. No creativity, no surprises. We can use that. Yoon nodded and followed Beck as he led an attack that the aliens would not expect. Instead of flying straight at them, the human fighters came from below and behind, using the sun to hide their approach. When they opened fire, their new weapons cut through 2 scout ships before the aliens could react. The remaining enemy vessels turned to fight, but they moved too slowly. Human pilots had trained for years to fight fast and change direction quickly. In 15 minutes, Sky Team had destroyed 6 alien scout ships while losing only 1 fighter. Beck could hardly believe it himself. "Command, this is Falcon 1, he reported. "Enemy ships are down. Their pilots do not adapt to changes in combat. We can beat them in the air." Back at the Seoul Command Center, Lee Tae-min received reports from battle zones around the world. The story was the same everywhere. Human forces were holding their ground and sometimes winning against alien attacks. Dr. Park Hye-jin was working at a computer station nearby, studying pieces of a crashed alien scout ship that had been brought to the base. "Look at this," she called to Lee. "Their technology is very advanced, but it is also very complicated. When one part breaks, the whole system stops working." She pointed to the alien circuits on her screen. "Our technology is simpler but more flexible. When we lose one part, we can still fight with the others. Their ships need everything to work perfectly." Nam Yoo-jin, the cyber warfare expert, looked up from his computers with excitement. "I have been trying to break into their communication systems," he said. "Their security is strong, but it follows the same patterns everywhere. Once I figured out the pattern, I got inside their network." "What did you find?" Lee asked. "They are talking to each other about us," Nam replied. "They keep saying things like impossible and this should not be happening. I think we are the first people who ever fought back this hard." Across the city, engineer Ri So-young was leading teams that were setting up defenses in the subway, tunnels, and underground shopping areas. She had spent months designing ways to move people and weapons through the city without being seen from above. "The aliens fight like they always win easily," she explained to her workers. "They expect us to stay in one place so they can hit us with their big weapons. But we will not stay in one place." Her plan was working. Every time the aliens destroyed a human position, they found it was already empty. The defenders had moved to a new location through the underground tunnels. In the mountains outside the city, Choi Jae-sung was commanding a group of soldiers who were using tactics the aliens had never seen before. Instead of big armies fighting in open ground, the humans used small teams that attacked quickly and then disappeared. "Hit them fast, hurt them, and run away," he told his troops. "Make them angry and confused. Make them waste their energy chasing shadows." His strategy was based on old Korean military history, when smaller armies had defeated larger invaders by being smarter and faster. The aliens had powerful weapons, but they did not know how to fight an enemy that would not stand still. Meanwhile, on the main Velkari ship, Commander Velthara was getting angry reports from his officers around the world. Every attack on human positions was meeting stronger resistance than expected. "Sir," said his communications officer, "our forces above the city called New York are requesting additional support. The humans are using weapons that can damage our ships. And London reports that human aircraft are faster and more maneuverable than predicted," added another officer. Velthara slammed his fist on his command chair. "How is this possible? Our scouts said these humans were primitive. They fight each other with simple weapons." His science officer looked at the battle data on his screen. "Commander, I think our scouts only saw what the humans wanted them to see. They have been hiding their real capabilities." For the first time in his career, Velthara realized he might have made a serious mistake. The Empire had always won by scaring enemies into surrender. They had never fought a species that was prepared for war. Back in Seoul, the battle continued through the night. Human forces struck at alien positions and then melted away before the enemy could respond. The aliens grew frustrated and began using bigger weapons, but this only destroyed empty buildings. Dr. Park made another important discovery as she studied more alien wreckage. Their weapons need a lot of energy, she told the command team. But their power systems are not as efficient as ours. If we can make them fight for a long time, they will run out of energy before we do. This news gave the human defenders new hope. They could not match the aliens' firepower, but they could outlast them in a long fight. As dawn broke over Seoul, Lee Tae-min looked at the damage reports. The city had taken hits, but the people were still fighting. Around the world, human forces were proving that they would not give up easily. "Send a message to all our allies," he told his communications officer. "Tell them the aliens can be beaten. Tell them we are proving it right here, on the alien ship above." Velthara faced a problem he had never encountered before. His easy conquest was turning into a real war. For the first time, he had to call for reinforcements. "Send a message to the Empire," he ordered. "Tell them that Planet 2847 requires additional fleet support. The local species is offering unexpected resistance." He hated saying those words. In 47 previous conquests, he had never needed help. But these humans were different from any enemy the Empire had faced. As the second day of fighting began, both sides prepared for a longer war than anyone had expected. The aliens had superior technology, but the humans had something the Empire had never faced before: the absolute refusal to surrender. Baek Min-ho climbed into his fighter for another mission, checking his weapons and fuel. His aircraft had been damaged in yesterday's fighting, but the ground crew had fixed it during the night. "Ready for round 2? Asked Yoon Da-hae as she prepared her own fighter. "Always," Baek replied with a grim smile. "Let's show them that yesterday was not a lucky accident." The aliens had expected to break human resistance in hours. Instead, they were learning that humans become more dangerous when they are angry. The war for Earth was just beginning, and already the outcome was not as certain as the Velkari Empire had believed. The species that had conquered 47 worlds was about to discover what happened when they met a species that refused to kneel. 3 weeks after the first alien attack, Seoul looked very different. Many buildings were damaged, but the city was not dead. Instead, it had become something new, a city that lived underground. Ri So-young stood in what used to be a subway station. Now it was a busy military command center. Soldiers moved through tunnels that connected to shopping centers, office buildings, and even the old palace grounds. Her engineering teams had turned the entire underground network into a hidden fortress. "Then, aliens still do not understand what we did," she explained to a group of new volunteers. "They think in terms of targets they can see from space. They bomb a building, and they think they won. But the real city is down here now. Above them, alien ships still hung in the sky like dark clouds. But below ground, human life continued. Factories built weapons in old subway tunnels. Hospitals treated wounded soldiers in shopping mall basements. Children went to school in underground passages, learning math and science alongside lessons about fighting invaders. Dr. Park Hae-jin had moved her laboratory to a deep basement under the university. She was no longer just translating alien messages. Now she was studying every piece of alien technology that human forces could capture. "Look at this," she said to her assistant Ko Min-soo, pointing to a strange alien device on her table. "This is their personal communicator, but it does more than just send messages." She had been working on the device for days, carefully taking it apart and studying each piece. What she found surprised her. "It controls their weapons, their armor, even their medical systems," she continued. "One device does everything. But that means if we can break the device, we can stop their soldiers from fighting effectively." Ko Min-soo looked at the complex alien circuits. "How do we break something we do not understand?" Dr. Park smiled. "We do not need to understand it completely. We just need to make it stop working. And I think I know how." In another part of the underground network, Nam Yoo-jin was working with a team of computer experts from around the world. They had connected their systems through hidden cables that ran through the tunnel network. I have been inside their computer networks for 2 weeks now, he told his team. They still do not know I am there. They assume their security is too advanced for human technology. His screens showed alien data flowing like a river of light. Ship positions, weapon status, communication between commanders. He could see it, all. The interesting thing is how they think, Nam continued. They have patterns for everything. Attack pattern A for cities, pattern B for military bases, pattern C for factories. They never change the patterns. His teammate, a young programmer named Lee Kyung-ho, looked at the data. So if we know the patterns, we can predict what they will do next? Better than that, Nam said with a grin. If we know the patterns, we can make them do what we want them to do. Above ground, the war continued. But it was not the kind of war the aliens expected. Human forces had learned to fight without staying in one place. They would attack an alien position, cause damage, and disappear before the enemy could respond. Choi Jae-sung had become an expert at this new kind of fighting. His teams moved through the city like ghosts, using the underground tunnels to appear where the aliens least expected them. Today we hit their supply depot near the river, he told his soldiers as they prepared for another mission. Intelligence says they bring new equipment there every morning. We destroy it, and their forces get weaker. His team included soldiers from many different countries. The alien invasion had made all of humanity work together. Korean soldiers fought alongside Americans, Europeans, and Africans. Everyone shared the same goal: make the aliens regret coming to Earth. In the sky above Seoul, Baek Min-ho was leading another air patrol. His fighter squadron had become famous among human forces. They had shot down more alien aircraft than any other unit. But today felt different. His sensors were showing something new. Control, this is Falcon 1, he radioed to the underground command center. I am seeing much larger alien ships approaching from the north. They look different from the ones we have been fighting. Lee Taemin received the report with concern. Intelligence had suggested that the aliens might bring reinforcements. It looked like that time had come. All units, this is command, he announced over the communication system. Prepare for escalation. The enemy is bringing bigger ships. But the humans had been preparing for this too. In hidden factories around the world, engineers had been building new weapons based on captured alien technology. Oh Sung-min had been leading one of these secret projects. He was a scientist who had become a weapons designer when the aliens arrived. His team had spent weeks studying alien energy systems and armor materials. We cannot build weapons as powerful as theirs, he explained to his team. But we can build weapons that work differently. Weapons they will not expect. His latest creation looked like a simple missile, but inside it was something special. Instead of exploding when it hit a target, it would attach itself to alien ships and slowly drain their power systems. They rely on energy shields to protect themselves, Oh continued. But shields need constant power. If we can slowly take away that power, their shields will fail. Meanwhile, in a medical station deep underground, Dr. Lim Ji-woo was treating wounded soldiers who had been hurt by alien weapons. She had learned a lot about how alien technology affected human bodies. Their weapons are designed to cause fear as much as damage, she told her medical team. They want people to be so afraid of getting hurt that they will not fight back. But she had also discovered something important. The alien weapons were designed to fight against alien biology, not human biology. Sometimes their effects on humans were less severe than expected. We can develop treatments that help our soldiers recover faster, she said. The aliens assume that anyone hit by their weapons will be out of the fight permanently. But humans heal differently than they expect. Communication specialist Yoon Hae-won was working to keep all human forces connected across the world. The Osao. Aliens tried constantly to block human communications, but her team had found ways to keep the signals flowing. We use their own technology against them, she explained to new communications officers. We capture their transmitters and modify them to carry our messages. They think they are blocking us, but we are actually using their own systems. This global communication network was crucial for sharing information about alien weaknesses and successful tactics. When human forces in Asia discovered a new way to fight alien ground troops, forces in Europe and America could use the same methods within hours. The aliens were starting to realize they faced a problem they had never encountered before. Usually, when they conquered a world, they only had to defeat that world's military forces. Once the organized resistance was broken, the civilian population would surrender. But on Earth, there was no clear line between military and civilian. Engineers became weapons designers. Computer programmers became cyber warriors. Students became soldiers. The entire human population had become part of the resistance. Commander Velthara looked at the reports from his subordinates with growing frustration. His forces controlled the skies and could destroy any target they could see, but the humans had made themselves impossible to see. They are like insects, he complained to his second-in-command. Every time we crush one group, 3 more appear somewhere else. His second-in-command, a younger officer named Kelvarine, studied the tactical displays. Sir, perhaps we should consider orbital bombardment, destroy entire cities and force them to surrender. Velthara considered this option. The Empire had used it before on stubborn worlds, but something about these humans made him hesitate. No, he said finally. Dead planets are not useful to the Empire. We need these humans alive to work for us. There must be another way to break their will to fight. But what Velthara did not understand was that the human will to fight was getting stronger, not weaker. Every alien attack made more humans angry. Every destroyed building made more people join the resistance. In the underground command center, Lee Taman was planning the next phase of human strategy. Intelligence reports showed that alien reinforcements were arriving, but they also showed something else. The aliens are having supply problems, he told his staff. They expected this war to be over quickly. They did not bring enough supplies for a long fight. Dr. Park looked up from her work on alien technology. That matches what I have learned from their equipment. Their systems are designed for short, overwhelming attacks. They are not built for extended warfare. This gave the human leadership a new strategy. Instead of trying to defeat the aliens quickly, they would make the war last as long as possible. They would drain alien resources and force them to fight the kind of war they were not prepared for. We change our approach, Lee announced. We do not try to drive them away immediately. We make them stay and fight until they run out of supplies. We turn their strength into weakness. As night fell over Seoul, the underground city prepared for another day of war. But now they had hope. The aliens were powerful, but they were not invincible. And with every day that passed, humans learned more about how to fight them. The species that had expected easy submission was learning that humanity had no intention of making anything easy for them. 2 months into the war, everything changed when Ko Min-jun's scouting team found the crashed alien ship in the mountains east of Seoul. It was not a small fighter like the ones they had captured before. This was a command vessel, and inside, it was something more valuable than any weapon, a living Velkari officer. The alien was badly injured but alive when human soldiers found him. Dr. Lim Ji-woo worked for hours to keep him breathing, while Ko Min-jun's team secured the area. They had never captured a high-ranking enemy before. We need to get him to the underground medical facility, Doctor, Lim told Ko. But we also need to be very careful. We do not know what diseases he might carry or what technology might be hidden in his body. Ko nodded and called for a special transport team. This prisoner could be the key to understanding their enemy better. Back at the underground command center, Lee Taman received the news with excitement. A command officer, he said to his staff. Finally, we can get real information about how their empire works. But getting information from the alien would not be easy. When the prisoner woke up 3 days later, he refused to speak. He just stared at the humans with what looked like surprise and anger. Dr. Park Hae-jin was brought in to try communication. She had learned enough of the Velkari language to have simple conversations. But when she tried to talk to the prisoner, he seemed shocked that a human could speak his language at all. How is this possible? The alien finally said in his own language. Your species is primitive. You should not be able to learn our words. Dr. Park smiled calmly. We are full of surprises, she replied in Velkari. Perhaps your information about us was not very good. Over the next several days, the alien officer slowly began to talk. His name was Sub-Commander Dek Novar, and he had been part of the Velkari Empire's conquest forces for many years. What he told the humans changed everything they thought they knew about their enemy. "Your species is the 48th that we have conquered," Dek Novar said during one of his interviews. "All the others surrendered within days of our arrival. None of them fought back like you have." "Why did they surrender so quickly?" Dr. Park asked. Dek Novar looked confused by the question. "Because resistance is pointless. The Empire is too strong. Better to surrender and live as workers than to fight and die." But as he talked more, Dr. Park began to understand something important. The Velkari Empire was not as strong as it appeared. It was built on fear and the assumption that no one would fight back seriously. "Most of our ships are not even fully armed," Dek Novar admitted. "We carry enough weapons to destroy a few cities and scare populations into surrender. We do not expect to fight real wars." This information was immediately shared with human forces around the world. The aliens had seemed overwhelmingly powerful, but much of that power was an illusion. They had conquered so many worlds so easily that they had become lazy and overconfident. General Hong Seok-jin was the first to understand what this meant. He had been put in charge of reorganizing human military forces for longer warfare. Now he realized they needed to think differently. "We have been playing defense," he told the Global Military Council during a secure video conference. "We have been trying to survive their attacks, but if they are not as strong as they seem, maybe it is time to attack them." The idea was radical. For 2 months, human strategy had focused on hiding, surviving, and slowly wearing down alien resources. No one had seriously considered taking the war to the aliens themselves, but Hong had been studying the battle reports and alien movements. He had noticed patterns that suggested the enemy was not prepared for humans to go on the offensive. "Their ships always stay in the same positions," he explained. "They patrol the same routes every day. They assume we will always react to what they do. They never consider that we might act first." Meanwhile, Dr. Shin Yun-soo had been working with Oh Sung-min's weapons team to reverse engineer alien shield technology. The breakthrough came when they realized that alien shields worked on completely different principles than human engineers had assumed. "They do not stop things from hitting the ship," Dr. Shin explained to the engineering team. "They absorb the energy from impacts and redirect it, but there is a limit to how much energy they can handle." This discovery led to a new type of weapon. Instead of trying to break through alien shields with more powerful explosions, the new weapons would overload the shields by hitting them with many small impacts very quickly. "It is like trying to drink from a fire hose," Oh Sung-min explained. "Their shields can handle a big explosion, but they cannot handle 1,000 tiny ones all at the same time." Ko Min-jun, who had found the crashed alien ship, volunteered to test the first captured alien fighter that human engineers had repaired. It was dangerous work, but someone had to learn how to fly enemy ships. "The controls are strange," he reported after his first flight. "But once you understand how they think, it makes sense. Everything is automated. The ship tries to do the thinking for the pilot." This was another important discovery. Alien pilots were not trained to think creatively or adapt to unexpected situations. Their ships were designed to follow pre-programmed patterns. Human pilots, who were trained to improvise and react quickly, could easily outmaneuver them. Han So-min, who worked in intelligence, had been studying the information from the captured alien officer. She noticed something interesting in his descriptions of other conquered worlds. Every planet they conquered had the same type of government, she told Lee Taemin. Centralized authority, with one leader or one group making all decisions. When they threatened the leaders, entire planets surrendered. But Earth is different, Lee realized. We have many different countries and governments. Even if some leaders wanted to surrender, others would keep fighting. This was another advantage that humans had not recognized before. The Velkari Empire was used to fighting enemies with single points of failure. Earth had no single point of failure. Even if entire continents fell to the aliens, other parts of the world would continue the resistance. As spring arrived, human forces around the world began preparing for their first major offensive. The plan was complex and dangerous. Instead of just defending Earth, they would attack Velkari supply ships and outposts in space. The key was the captured alien technology that human engineers had learned to operate. Ko Min-jun now led a squadron of pilots who could fly alien fighters. They would use enemy ships to get close to alien supply vessels. The aliens will think we are their own forces, Ko explained to his team. By the time they realize what is happening, we will already be inside their defenses. Baek Min-ho's fighter squadron would provide support, using the new weapons that could overload alien shields. The combined force would be humanity's first strike outside Earth's atmosphere. Nam Yoo-jin's cyber warfare team had prepared their own contribution. They had planted hidden programs in alien computer systems that would activate during the attack, confusing enemy sensors and communications. When the fighting starts, their computers will tell them that human ships are in 12 different places at once, Nam explained. They will not know which targets are real and which are fake. The attack was planned for a new moon, when Earth's sky would be darkest. Human forces had learned to use darkness as an advantage, while the aliens seemed to prefer fighting in daylight. But before the offensive could begin, something unexpected happened. Other alien ships arrived in Earth orbit, but these were not Velkari vessels. They looked different, and they were broadcasting strange signals. Dr. Park worked frantically to translate the new messages. When she finally understood them, she was shocked. They are from a species called the Corvani, she told the command team. They were conquered by the Velkari Empire 50 years ago, but they heard about our resistance, and they came to help us. The message from the Corvani ships was simple. We thought we were alone in fighting the Empire. We thought no one else would resist. But you have shown us that resistance is possible. We want to fight alongside you. Lee Tae-min felt a mixture of excitement and worry. Human forces were no longer alone, but this also meant the war was becoming bigger and more complicated. How many other species have been conquered by the Empire? He asked Dr. Park. She looked at the data from the Corvani message. According to this, 47 other worlds, all of them forced to work for the Empire, all of them waiting for someone to show them that the Empire could be defeated. Commander Velthara watched the new ships appear on his sensors with growing alarm. His easy conquest had become a real war, and now that war was spreading to other parts of the Empire. This was exactly what he had been trained to prevent. Send an immediate message to the home fleet, he ordered. Tell them that the rebellion is spreading. Tell them we need the full battle fleet here immediately. But as he sent the message, Velthara realized he might be too late. The humans had done something no conquered species had ever done before. They had inspired others to rebel. The war for Earth was becoming a war for the freedom of the entire galaxy, and the species that had expected submission was about to face something they had never encountered, a universe that refused to kneel. The massive space station hung in the darkness like a metal moon. Its size made even the largest human ships look like toys. 12 different alien races had built this place together, and it showed. Strange towers twisted up from the main body. Colorful lights blinked in patterns that hurt human eyes to watch. This was Nexus Prime Station, the heart of the Galactic Council. Ambassador Hyunwoo Kim stood at the window of his shuttle, watching the station grow larger as they got closer. He was a tall man with graying hair and calm eyes. He had spent 20 years learning how to talk to aliens, but today felt different. Today the future of humanity would be decided. "Sir, we're getting close," said Specialist Yunbi Choi from behind him. She was young, maybe 25, with short black hair and bright eyes. She carried a small computer tablet and never seemed worried about anything. Even now, when they were flying into what might be a trap, she looked relaxed. "Thank you, Eunbi," Yunwoo said. He turned away from the window and straightened his dark blue uniform. The Earth symbol on his chest caught the light. "How are our escort ships doing?" "Captain Sojin Park reports all 12 ships are in position," Yunbi replied, reading from her tablet. "They're keeping the proper distance just like the aliens?" asked. Hyunwoo nodded. The Galactic Council had been very clear about the rules. Humanity could bring an ambassador and a small escort fleet. Nothing more. They said it was for everyone's safety, but Hyunwoo knew better. It was to show humans their place. The shuttle docked with a soft bump. Alien air hissed into the airlock, carrying strange smells. Hyunwoo had learned not to make faces when he smelled alien air. It was rude, and today he needed to be very polite. The airlock opened and 3 aliens waited for them. The first was tall and thin, with blue skin and 4 arms. This was a Zelani, one of the older council races. The second looked like a walking tree, covered in bark-like skin, a Grotak. The third made Hyunwoo's skin crawl. It looked like a giant lizard standing on 2 legs, with yellow eyes and too many teeth. A hegemony warrior. "Welcome to Nexus Prime," the Zelani said in perfect English. All council races had learned human languages years ago. "I am Guide Veltar. The council is ready for you." They walked through long hallways filled with alien art and strange music. Other aliens stopped to stare at the humans. Some looked curious. Others looked angry. A few looked hungry, which worried Hyunwoo more than the angry ones. The council chamber was huge. 12 thrones sat in a circle, each one made for a different type of alien body. In the center was a small platform with 2 human-sized chairs. Hyunwoo and Yoonbi walked to their seats while hundreds of alien eyes watched them. Council leader Vorthak stood up from the largest throne. He was a hegemony leader, bigger than the warrior who had met them. His scales were darker, almost black, and scars covered his arms. When he smiled, Hyunwoo counted at least 50 sharp teeth. "Humans," Vorthak said, his voice deep and rough. "You have come at last." "Thank you for inviting us," Hyunwoo replied. He kept his voice steady and polite. "Earth is honored to speak with the Galactic Council." Vorthak's smile got wider. "Yes, I'm sure you are. We have been watching your species for some time now. 50 Earth years since you first left your planet. Very fast progress for such a young race." Other council members nodded. A floating jellyfish-like alien spoke next. "Too fast, perhaps. Your people spread to new worlds very quickly. You build ships and weapons without asking permission. You take resources that belong to the galaxy," added a creature that looked like a living crystal. "You act as if space belongs to you alone." Hyunwoo listened carefully. This was what he had expected. The aliens were scared of human progress. In just 50 years, humans had gone from barely reaching their own moon to controlling 15 star systems. They had built cities on alien worlds and ships that could travel faster than light. Other races had taken hundreds of years to do the same things. "We have always been willing to follow galactic law," Hyunwoo said. "Earth has tried many times to join the council as equal members." "Equal?" Vorthak laughed, a sound like rocks grinding together. "You are children playing with dangerous toys. Your species is violent and unpredictable. You fight wars over small pieces of land. You destroy your own planet's environment. You cannot be trusted with the power you have taken." Yoonbi shifted in her chair, but she didn't speak. Hyunwoo had told her to stay quiet unless he asked for her help. Right now, he needed to hear everything the aliens had to say. "The council has discussed your future," said another alien, this one covered in bright feathers. "We have decided to help you before you hurt yourselves or others." "Help us how?" Hyunwoo asked, though he was pretty sure he didn't want to hear the answer. Vorthak stood up to his full height, almost 3 meters tall. "Humanity will stop all expansion beyond your current systems. You will destroy all military ships except for basic patrol craft. You will accept council oversight of your government and technology. You will place your worlds under our protection." The words hung in the air like a bad smell. Hyunwoo felt his heart beat faster, but he kept his face calm. Around the circle, alien leaders watched him with hungry eyes. They were waiting for him to panic, to beg, to accept their terms without question. "And if we refuse?" Hyunwoo asked. "Then we will be forced to take action for the good of the galaxy," Vorthak replied. "Your species is too dangerous to be left alone. We have seen what happens when violent races get too much power too quickly. They destroy everything around them." "How long do we have to decide?" Hyunwoo asked. "You may have 1 day to consider." "Our generous offer," said the crystal alien. We understand this is a big decision for such a young species. Hyunwoo stood up slowly. Yoonbi followed his lead. Thank you for your generosity. We will need time to discuss this with our government. Of course, Vorthak said. His smile showed those sharp teeth again. Take all the time you need. One day should be more than enough. As they walked back toward their shuttle, Yoonbi finally spoke. Sir, they're not really giving us a choice, are they? No, Hyunwoo replied quietly. They're not. But what the aliens didn't know was that humanity had already made their choice. Admiral Yoo Jin-song back on Earth had been very clear in her secret instructions. If the aliens demanded surrender, Earth would refuse. And if they threatened force, humanity was ready to show them what a truly dangerous species could do. Hyunwoo looked back at the massive council chamber as they left. 12 alien races, each one older and supposedly wiser than humanity. Each one convinced that humans were just scared children who would do whatever they were told. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Back on the shuttle, Yoonbi activated a small device hidden in her tablet. It sent a coded message to Captain Sojin Park's ship and from there to Earth. 3 simple words that would change everything. The talks failed. Outside the shuttle windows, the human escort fleet hung in space, looking small and helpless next to the alien ships around them. But looks could be very deceiving. The aliens had spent so much time talking about how dangerous humans were that they forgot to ask one important question. If humanity was really so young and weak, how had they advanced so fast? And why weren't they more afraid? Soon, the galaxy would find out.